everybody who's not here, please raise your hand. Clear.
Right. Well, welcome very much in the session of conditioning. We condition the house with light system, with the hydro fan and the high pressure cooling. I will explain about those three products to you. And do you have to translate or not?
No.
No? Okay. You follow me? Perfect. Perfect. That's good. Then I don't have to slow down otherwise. Yeah, light. So
you need to introduce yourself.
First I will introduce myself. Thank you, Bart. I did it already 2 times, so it's getting. I'm Luc Rojakers. I'm working now for almost 13, 14 years in Fancom. I started as a technical service guy, and now for the last 5 years I'm responsible for our sales in the Middle East, so mainly Saudi Arabia, Egypt, so therefore it's my responsibility.
Yeah.
Let's also introduce Bart.
Yeah, my name is Bart Aerts. I'm within Fancom since 2011, initially for pigs and poultry sales, nowadays for mushrooms, and I'm also concerned with product development. So hopefully you enjoy this presentation as well.
Good. Lightning, the challenge. You want to have a good light system in your house for your chickens, pigs. So, what's the challenge a little bit? So, yeah, you need a good, the color of the light is important, the intensity of the light is important, you need a good spectrum. More or less summarized, you should avoid stress from light for the chickens. That's most important, that's the goal where you have to go for. What's the answer? Of course, Fancom has an answer for that. We have the Fancom light system. We cooperate with a very nice company, other company in the Netherlands, that's producing the lights for us. They are our partner. You all will recognize who that will be, so I don't have to mention the name. We have a full line of high quality lights, so it's for chickens, broilers, breeders, layers, but also for pigs and also for mushrooms we have lights. So, what's important? So the intensity of the light color and the light schedule, so you have to set it up in your controller. In our climate controller, like the Fancom 1 controller, it will come in. Lumina 38, it's already in, very complicated, but very good to set it up. We'll come back on that later also. A little bit on the basics on light. Yeah, you see a very nice picture. The red line, it's how we see light. And that's different than how a chicken see the light. So especially on the left side, the chicken can see UV light, but also the blue light much more brighter than we do. Of course, we try to get an advantage out of that. So we use the blue light for catching the birds. When their blue lights are on, they are more calm, they stay on the ground, and they're easier for catching. On the right side, we have the red light. So red light, when are we going to use that? Especially in laying and breeders, you see that birds start picking each other, and then you get blood. And a bird is very, what did we say, sensitive, but also very curious. So they keep picking on it. So if you turn on the red light, blood is red, so they don't see that anymore. So they stop picking on that. So there is the advantage to use also the red lights in the house. Another thing that's very important is the flicker in the light. So if you look at this picture, don't look too long because you will get dizzy. And that's the same with the birds. When they are in the house and they have all the time the light flickering, they see that also much more intense than people will see. They will get stressed with that. A very easy way to check it is with your mobile phone. If you put filming on a movie and put it on slow motion, then film the light, and then check it. Then you already can see in that slow motion movie if light is flickering, yes or no. So that's already a first indication, easy indication how you can check it yourself. Then we know what we want, but what do we need exactly? So then you come to Fancom, to your area sales manager, and you ask, I need a light system. And then we're going to ask you a lot of questions, of course. So we need the dimensions of the house, how the house looks like, how long, how wide, the height of the house. This is for boilers. If you have breeders, we also need the dimensions of the nest box inside the slabs. If you have a layer house, we also need to know how the cages are looking like, what dimensions the cages are, because then the lights have to be a little bit different, of course. It's not all straightforward. So we fill in those details. Then we come to another very important thing, that's the color of the ceiling and the color of the floor, color of the walls. That's very important, because if you look in this room, we have a green wall and a white ceiling. Light will reflect much more on the white ceiling than on the green wall. So that will influence how many lights we have to install in the house. And that's also what competitors sometimes forget, that information, to use it in their quotation. So in this room, I would say Fancom would advise 20 lights because of the green wall. Competitor from Fancom will say, it's the size of this room, we can do it with 15. So there's a big difference. That's only 25% less lights in it, but the light in the house will not be good with less lights, because you have to consider the dark walls in that. So that's a very important thing, and we take that in consideration. If we have all the data, we can make a light plan. So you see here nicely, we're going for a boiler house. There you need at least 40 lux on the ground. You see here in this picture, everywhere is 40 lux, even some places around 50 lux. So it's a very uniform light in the house over there. The next step, you get the articles that you need, that you have to order, put in the quotation, and then with everything together, we can ship it to you guys. You can do the installation, and there will be a great light system in the house for the birds, for whatever animal you are going to install it. Features that matter. So also the light system has to be automatically. If there are somebody standing all day long with to turn on, turn off the lights, it's not good. So you have to automate that. That will be done in the Fancom 1 controller, of course, but also it's already in the Lumina 37 and the Lumina 38. What do you want to do? You want to set up a day-night schedule for the birds, because at nighttime they have to sleep, they have to digest their feed, and at daytime they have to go actively looking for feed. In our controller you can set everything up, when lights should go on, when they go off, fade in, fade out of the lights. If you want to use a different color, you can set it up, so you can be very flexible with your light schedule and what kind of light you want to provide to your birds. This is Fancom controllers. Fancom equipment is very high quality, and still I see sometimes controllers from 30, 35 years old, and they are still working in the house. So I suppose that will also be with light system. Maybe there are houses with already a light system for more than 30 years old. They all have the TL tubes in there, and they are consuming much more energy than the new LED lights. So here an easy comparison, so you can save up to 46% of power consumption, more efficient than old lights. So if you have farmers with old light systems, contact them, tell them buy the new lights from Fancom. In 2 years' time you will have a random return on investment on them, and your birds will perform much better because they are flicker free and everything, so that's perfectly. Fancom is now introducing the first two lights. We can do much more than only these two, but I will point out these two a little bit more. It will be a 48 volt DC, so that's low risk for failures, for energy failures. Lifetime of 50,000 hours, multiple colors, so that will be white and blue. I'll demonstrate it for a second. So this light can do white and blue, and this can do white and red. This one is only white. So that's the options show. There are always two power lines, and then you can independently turn them on, turn them off. They are 100% flicker free and dimmable. Let me see if they. And it's 100% dimmable, so it's really dark when you put them to 0. And that's also quite unique because a lot of other companies, they say it's to 0, but it's always a little bit of light in there. And if you want it dark, you want it really dark, not still a little bit light in there. IP67 tested, so with high pressure cleaning you can clean the house, it's no problem. And 8 years of warranty. And also that 8 years of warranty, that's quite unique. And it's not only on the parts that you see, but also we can guarantee that if you install 40 lux in 8 years time, it's still 40 lux. So it will not fade down to 30 lux. It's after 8 years, we still guarantee that it's 40 lux in there. This is the higher end light. We also have a middle end light. Price-wise, it's a little bit cheaper, but still a very good light. It's working 220 to 240 volts. Lifetime of 35,000 hours. Warm white is the color for this light. Also IP67 tested, easy to clean. And this light is dimmable to 2%. So when you dim it completely back, it still will have a little bit light in there. And also for this light, it's the 8 years warranty and the guarantee that after 8 years it still gives the lux that we say it would give. What's the impact? So your birds are sitting in a more comfortable location, less stress. The uniformity will be better. They will, the growth will be improved, but also your feed conversion will be better. Because of the good uniformity of the light, you will not see that birds are huddling together. That will also give you a better litter quality because they are equally spread through the house. Less bird stress and a better animal welfare. Summarize that for the light system. So we have a complete range of lights, poultry, pigs, mushrooms, for all types of animals. It will improve the performance of the birds, it will reduce the cost because of less energy using, and the 8 years of warranty / guarantee that it will work for 8 years perfectly. Any questions about the light system? Feel free to ask, remarks. Please.
I have a question on Fancom Pika. It is easy to clean.
Yes.
Then how farm owners and workers can clean the light with, for example, in pig farm, we clean farms with high pressure water.
Yeah. But you can do that with this light also. You can just with high pressure you can clean this.
What is the substance of the casing of the light?
Yeah, it's kind of plastic.
Plastic.
But yeah, especially also that it can resist the ammonias and things like that. Yeah.
There's a special hog light as well.
Tomorrow, are you coming tomorrow to the office in Fancom? Tomorrow for the tour? Yeah. There in the showroom, we have the big light also there. We can show it over there.
Thank you.
So this can be used for layers, riders, graders, cage of flower outer system.
Mainly these are also the lights that we over there are mainly used for boiler houses. We have a special light for breeders. For cages we also have a different light. But these are the two main lights I wanted to highlight. But we have a wide number of lights that we can use for all different types of animals.
In a very simple way, explain why for breeders we use different lights?
Yeah, it's very easy because for broilers you want 40 lux, for breeders you want 100 lux. So the intensity of the light we call also Corax XL, so it's just a little bit wider, so it can provide more lux, more light intensity. And for example, in the layer cage, you want the light not mounted to the roof, but you want it more a little bit hanging. So, please, you want to do sure? Good question, thank you. Anybody else? Then we go for the next. Bart, anything to add?
With the light plan, I think it's good to be aware that we look to the exact conditions, also to the walls, what Luc mentioned, so that not only the light plan fits to the situation, but also that another offer from a competitor doesn't differ, so that they do not take white walls into account, because then they will maybe more competitive, but with a solution which does not fit to the situation. So please be aware of that.
Just one more point to make. These lights, being DC lights, are the only light on the market that can guarantee zero flicker. Some of our competitors say their lights don't flicker, but it's impossible to eliminate flicker in an AC light.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that discussion we had also before in another group. If you have AC, there's always a little bit of flicker in it. Yeah. Only with DC you can be flicker free.
And also look at the guarantee here. Most companies offer 8 years, I think. So at least what we see in the market, most companies are limited in their warranty.
Yeah.
We can guarantee 8 years.
Yeah, that's very important to prevent flickering.
Alright, up to the next product, the Hygro fan. That one. The challenges. What could cause, question for you guys, girls, what could cause the low humidity level in the house? Anybody who wants to respond on that, has an idea on that?
Heat.
Heat, good. What kind of heat? Can you specify it a little bit more?
Overheating,
Dry.
maybe dry temperature outside.
Yeah, especially also the outside conditions, yes. What I see often, if you talk about heat, it's floor heating. It's floor heating because it will dry out the litter. Normally in the litter is a little bit of wet, so that will keep the humidity a little bit higher. With floor heating you will dry that out. Outside conditions, yeah, I'm responsible for Saudi Arabia, so that I see 10 to maximum 20% humidity outside. So if you bring that air inside, it's a big difference. So yeah, low outside humidity, but also the use of exchange heaters. I don't know which area are you using exchange heaters or not? Somebody already? Canada? Yeah. So yeah, there you will see also the exchange heater is also a kind of heating that will make your air much drier, take out the moisture, and then you bring it in, then yeah, that will give you problems. I just had a group of the Dutch people, we had that here already many years, and they say that they are now pointing out to admit that there is a problem because of the dry air in the house. They saw this solution yeah, we could almost write the order directly for them. So, what should be the humidity in a house for birds?
55-ish, 55-60%.
Yeah, if we look into the manuals from Ross or from COP, they say from 60 to 75% humidity inside of the house. So that's quite high. And that's often you don't see that in the houses. The risk. What will cause a too low RH in the house? You will have respiratory problems, dehydration of the birds. The lungs they will dry out. It's also when then they are not vital anymore. So you will also have a higher risk of infections. They are not feeling well, so they stop eating. Feed conversion is going down. Your growth rate, your growth will be dropping. Egg production will go down. So a lot of things it will cause if your humidity is too low. So very important that you keep it on the right level. How can you do that? The answer is here. The hydrofan. We were having already in the Middle East a humidifier, and we had to install the humidifier and a circulation fan. We thought, why not combine it together to make a hydrofan? So it's a win-win situation. It will save cost on the equipment, and we integrate it to each other, so it's much better. And with the right humidification, you will keep your animals always in a comfortable climate, and they will perform much better. How does it work? This is a typical house from 100 meters by 50 meters. In this case, you will see the outside humidity will be already 50-60% humidity, so 2 humidifiers will be enough in this house to install. That's always a little bit depending how many you will install on outside conditions, what kind of a heating do you have. Depending on that, you will install the number of hydro fans. How does it work? So house air is coming in from one side. You'll go over the disc. Here's a disc that will spin around. There will be connecting a water hose to it, normal water. It's not high pressure, so low pressure. And then this will turn around and it will spray the air out of it. Here there's a small switch. It can adjust the amount of water that's coming out. So you always have to fine tune that a little bit. And then it will give a throw of about 30-35 meters. And then you should have the next one, or at least a circulation fan to bring the noise further than the 30 meters. Features that matters. It's a very easy system. You hang it in the house. You see it here on this picture. You connect the water hose to it, electricity, and a steering signal from the controller, and it's functioning. Normally, you will also have an RH sensor in the house. We have in all our controllers, and for sure in the Fancom 1 controller, a setting that you can set up. I want a humidity level of 60 or 70, what you prefer, and the controller will make sure that the humidification part will work till you reach that humidification. If it goes above it, it will automatically stop, and then only your circulation will work and your humidification part will stop at that moment, till your humidity is too low again, and then it will start and will continue. Because it's integrated with the circulation fan, it will not disturb your airflow in the house. So that's what you saw on the pictures before. It's nicely in the house, it's still in the loop that you want to create during window ventilation. Easy to maintain, no corrosion, so it's a very nice product for that. What's the impact? By creating a good climate, good humidity level, you have a lower risk of respiratory diseases, you get a boost for your performance. The birds will perform better. It's animal friendly. It will not interrupt their normal behavior. It's hanging above them, and you provide the extra moisture to them. Extra benefit for it. It will, because you make more humid air, the dust level will be lower. That's very good, of course, for the birds. Their lungs will be higher quality. You don't start to have problems with their lungs. But also for the human who has to walk through the house, it's also more comfortable. They will also have less dust in their lungs. It's an extra benefit, of course. Summarizing, so with the Hero fan, you always have the right humidity level in the house. Keeps the animals healthy and comfortable, and it's an easy system and low maintenance. Any questions about this one? And of course, it will be fully integrated in the smart farm ecosystem from Vancouver One. Also with the light, of course, all our products are. Questions on this?
Are you offering it on different size fans or always the same size fan?
Normally we had our circulation fan always on 56, and that was doing about 10,000 cubes.
Yeah.
But because of the humidification part, it will block, and we still want the same amount of airflow. So we now have chosen for a 63. So that circulation fan will do normally about 15,000 cubes. But blocking it will back to 10,000 more or less. There is an option we looked into it to put it on an 80 size. It's possible, yes. But for now, standard it will be with
63.
Yeah. Thank you.
I know it's not the purpose, but it also has a cooling effect, right?
Very good point. You bring in moisture into the air, so you bring water into the air and it will cool down, yes. And the previous session I had Abse from Austria. He was saying he was using it only for cooling in a big house. He could cool up to 5 to 7 degrees already with the humidifier, but it's not the purpose where it's made for. It's an extra benefit, but it's made for bringing humidity into the house. Other
There
remarks?
was also a remark what I got that is also interesting for dairy houses. So when somebody is active in the dairy sector as well, they saw also possibilities for the hydrofan and dairy houses. So,
Is it then also used for humidifying, or is it the cooling effect that you want?
Humidifying. They even want big drops of water, and not the moisture anymore. Yeah. Yes.
And regarding hydrofan, water pump, I think a water pump should be included in the purchase when farmers decided to install hydrofan, since it provides
There's a
water.
small pump in here, so you can connect it directly to a water hose. So to the water line, you connect it directly to it, and the pump is in here. Yes. Good point. Thank you.
Thank you.
What's the price of it?
Sorry.
The price of it?
The price.
No, the price of
But the pressure. That's a good one. No, I really don't know what the pressure is getting. It will give about 30 liters per hour, that I know. 30 liters per hour it will spray into the house.
30 liters per hour.
What kind of a pressure I'm not sure. But it's very low pressure because it's spraying against the disc and the disc will throw it away. So it's low pressure. I think not even 1 bar. Okay.
So this can combine with the cooling pad together to lower the temperature.
So
I mean, this also can combine with the cooling pad.
the cooling pad. Yes.
Together. to
Yeah.
lower the
Yeah.
temperature.
Let me first keep that question for a moment. I will do the high pressure cooling, and then I come back to that. That's more in the topic to combine it. Okay?
Okay.
So the last product already, we are flying. Everybody is still a little bit quiet from the dinner, I think. The dinner was too good or not.
One type of coffee.
Excuse me.
The high pressure cooling, very unique product. I will tell you a little bit more about it. What's the challenge that we are facing in the market? You want to keep your chickens in the optimal climate, in the comfort zone for the climate. We are facing with outside conditions that they are not optimal for inside. Especially during your medium ventilation, when it's outside too hot, it's very difficult to maintain the temperature inside of the house on a low airspeed with a good temperature of the house. So therefore, this will be a great option to install. The answer that Fancom has, we now have this cooling system. We have 4 different types of nozzles. It's an excellent way of cooling from the incoming air. We will mount that on the wall above the inlets. So above every inlet there will be a nozzle. So all the incoming air will be cooled by misting, by nozzle cooling. That will be a very simple but extremely reliable, because you have really all the water, all the air that's coming in will be cooled. And for Helen, this is especially for the minimum ventilation. So when you use a small inlet, I will come later back onto the tunnel. So you saw already 4 different types of nozzles. Here we have a small movie. From grey to the black one, you see the amount of misting that's coming out getting wider and wider. So they are above the inlets. The inlet will bring the air inside of the building, will take the moisture and bring it back to the animals and make sure the circulation and brings perfect climate to the animals, nice, cooled, chilled air. You saw the 4 types of nozzles. The smallest one is doing 2.3 liters per hour, the biggest one is doing 8.5 liters per hour. We will make the calculation for you. If you send us the details, we make the calculation what you need, what nozzle best to use, what pump best to use. What's now something special, because you know Fancom is not doing straightforward normally. We are forward thinking and we want to do something special. We were testing 3 different suppliers from nozzle cooling, and we found out that there was only one partner for Fancom, because they were also a little bit forward thinking. They have a special nozzle, and the nozzle tip is ceramic. And ceramic is a smooth area, so it's better than stainless steel. Because it's that smooth area, you will not have any drops at the end, so there are no dropping on that. Also, it will not bind any lime on it. So every nozzle will be giving exactly the same amount of water. What you see sometimes with stainless steel nipples, that lime will be blocking the nozzle, and you see one nozzle is completely blocked, the next nozzle is still open, so it will spray a lot more than needed. Then the third and the fourth one is half blocked, so you get a little bit of more mist coming out of it. So it's not equally spread, the mist that's coming out. So with the ceramic nozzle, that problem is solved. Every nozzle gives everywhere exactly the same amount of water coming out. The other unique feature that we have is the pump. Because what you normally see is when the system is not working, there's still pressure on the pipes, on the lines. We have a special blend off that makes sure that water gets out and the pressure gets off of the pipes. So you get less dripping or no dripping at all. The other feature that our pump has, has a certain amount of capacity, but there's also a bleed off signal there that we can turn on, especially for big houses. If you have installed one pump for 3 pans, for example, or for 3 compartments, and you see that compartment 1 and 2 need a lot of moisture and 3 needs less. So normally your pump is made for all 3 on the same level, but now we can do with an extra blend off, say the third compartment needs less water sprayed in, so we can arrange that very nicely. Of course, also the high pressure cooling has extra benefits. It's not only for cooling the air, you can also do humidification with this, of course. You bring moisture in, so it's a win-win. You can also do humidification with it. When you're cleaning the house, the manure is stuck to all equipment very toughly. So if you turn on the misting already for, let's say, 8 hours or 10 hours before you start cleaning, everything is soaked and it's much easier to clean. So you will save on your cleaning cost and your cleaning time. When your house is empty, you also have to disinfect the house, that you also can do with this system. You put in the chemicals into the water box and then spray it to the house with this system. So it's also very effective for disinfecting of the house. So the impact with the ceramic tip, we're much more reliable. The system is working much better, and it has a longer lifetime than stainless steel nipples. I have seen it here in the Netherlands. My father has a breeder broiler farm. With this system, you can cool up easily to 10 degrees from outside temperature to inside temperature. It will be really depending, I see already somebody doubting, it is really depending on the area where you are. If you are having higher humidity outside, of course, your cooling effect will be less, and all the other way around also, of course. But yeah, 10 degrees I see it here in the Netherlands, it's quite humid already. 10 degrees, it's absolutely possible. To summarize, so it's a very cost-effective, energy-effective way to maintain the optimal conditions in your house. Cooling effect up to 10 degrees. And yeah, it can also do the humidification in the house, soak the area for easier cleaning, and help with disinfect the house. Questions about this product? Yes, please. Thank you.
Although the nozzles are durable and consistent, there are times that happens that when the repair is needed.
Yes.
In that case, is it easier to replace a nozzle, ceramic nozzle, separately?
Yeah, it's very easy to replace them. So you can easily take them off, pull them off, and then put a new one on. So it's quite easy to replace. But of course, I say you don't have to clean it, but I still would advise at least once a year, 2 times a year, that you clean all the nozzles. So we have a special box for that. You can put nozzles in there with chemicals. You shake it a little bit, you leave it there for 1 hour, and then you can change them back. Now also coming back on your question a little bit more, if you use also pad cooling you use normally for your tunnel ventilation. So when you have maximum ventilation, you close down all the side inlets and you use only the tunnel. So in this case, I would advise to use these above your inlets, small inlets, and cool pad. So both systems together. Because when you go into tunnel ventilation, you will close down the small inlets, so then you don't use this system anymore, then all the air goes by the cool pad. So therefore I would say better use both systems.
But for that also can balance the cooling side because
Yeah, it can run at the same time, but normally it's not needed, because when already coming through the cool pad, we have the cooling effect already over there and the humidification. Is that an answer to your question, or?
because in one of my pig farm and the pet farm said it's very hot in summer, and especially the cooling pad, they will spray the water onto the pig body.
Okay.
So I think if we install this on each pen, maybe also the same function.
Yeah. Then it's an absolutely good add-on. Yes. Especially, dry it and I think you will have a better climate then. And because this is also all automatically arranged by the controller, so that's also a big benefit. You don't have to do anything manually.
Have you ever done a direct side-by-side test, like a standard evaporative cooling system versus the misting, like same outdoor conditions, same barn conditions, just to see what kind of temperature drop comparison you would have?
No, we have not done that. But yeah, I think it's very difficult to compare that because you're looking at a certain moment you have more airflow with your maximum ventilation when you go to the cool bed than with this system. So
Yeah,
I see your point.
but it would be interesting to know, like, from a just value per dollars sort of thing, like,
Are you already using cool beds in?
yeah, more than I ever thought we would. And like in cold climates, they create a lot of some extra work for producers to make sure they're drained in the fall so they don't freeze and all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And you know, they're pretty restrictive to airflow, really. And as the building sizes change, sometimes it's difficult to get enough surface area.
Yeah.
So
That's
it
the
adds some challenges sometimes where this is, you know, we did a system for one guy, he's quite happy with it. He bought it more for adding humidity in the early days for vaccinating and
Yeah.
to make sure that that piece of the puzzle is covered. But it would be really interesting because I think, like, they're spending a lot of money buying cool cells and it adds a lot of cost for the builder.
Yeah.
So there might be, at the end of the day, it may not be that big a difference. It's interesting to see like two exact same buildings with exact same ages of birds, so that the conditions would be
Look,
equal.
I'm going to challenge you. Please do that.
Yeah.
And let us know.
I know a guy who would do it if the supplier would help out with the equipment.
Yeah, you can discuss that with your area sales manager.
Yeah.
Simon will do.
Yeah.
But you mentioned another very good point. I didn't remember that. I was thinking about that some time ago. When you're doing on day 12, especially with the broadest infection,
Is it Coxie or what is that?
yeah, the spraying of medicines to the bird. If the humidity in the house is too low, you will kill the vaccine during spraying already,
Yeah.
before it reaches the birds.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's very important to have at least a 60% of humidity inside of the house.
Could you explain now the
좋아하는
ceramic
백신
is the
얘기해요.
advantage
어.
to use explain more for that?
Yeah, maybe then you better come up here and have a look,
뿌리는 백신
because the ceramic,
이
you
목에
could turn it off and off.
내가 들어가는데 여기 드라이하니까 여기 닫아주는 거예요. 백신 되게 좀 살아있는
Especially the
라이브
ceramic,
백신.
this area, it's much more smoother. It's a very small hole in here.
돼지는
You
뿌리는
almost
백신
can't see it. But that, no, it will go to the side, and then it comes out here. And because of that ceramic, there will no stuck any chemicals or whatever in the water will stuck to there. So it's a much smoother spray surface. It's a flat surface. So if you feel here that it's not completely flat, and ceramic it's really flat. So this is really flat. This
No
not.
water will
Yeah. Otherwise, you get here a
Young
small
bird.
drop that will stay here, and that will
병아리
get dust,
이렇게
and then at the end it will block the hole. Then it's blocked and it's not spraying anymore.
It's also less hygiene.
그러니까
Yes.
환경 때문에 질병도 백신 효과를 못 거두니까 습도 유지하는 게 돈 버는 거고.
Anybody else with a remark, question, good experience about it? Bad experience is also welcome that we can also learn from.
Am I correct that most high pressure cooling systems come pre-installed, and here we can have flexibility?
Yes, good point. Thank you, Mark. Forget that one. The previous session also forgot that one. We are very flexible with installation of these parts. Normally, you go to the factory and you say, I want every 1 meter, I want a nozzle. So they do that press that into the pipes, and they will supply it to you. Then you are installing, and during installation, the construction worker, they had a big beam, and that was exactly on the place where you also should have your inlet. So they moved the inlet a little bit, but then you have also your nozzle sitting here and not above the inlet anymore. So we are very flexible. You get a special tool, and you can make the hole in it and press on the nipple wherever you want. So if you want it here, it's okay, but if you want it here, you do it on this place. So it's very flexible to build it up, and you have always the nozzle where you want it. So especially with the Venturas, you have that V shape. You can exactly put your nozzle above that V shape opening. So that's perfect.
I think also good to know that mounting is very easy. Yeah? So it's not only the flexibility that it is not pre-assembled, but also very easy to mount. You can just make a hole in the pipe, and we have a toolkit that helps you to mount the nozzle each time in the same angle. So that otherwise that should be very difficult to have everything on the whole pipe at the same angle, but we make that very easy for you. So mounting is very efficient, and you can't make mistakes in advance when you are engineering the entire installation.
Any other questions?
Maybe also good to know to mention. Look, with regard to high pressure nozzle systems, we did a lot of testing with several systems. So maybe about half a year or something like that. We gathered a lot of experience, and this system works very well. Especially the ceramic nozzle is very good. And with also in combination with the pumps, with bleed off, there are several capacities for the pumps available, depending on the capacity of humidification. So in relation of the capacity of the nozzles and the number of nozzles, of course. Did I forget something?
Don't think so. I didn't, but you don't. All right, then I would like to thank you all for all your good questions and everything, and please have a look at the equipment here, touch it, feel it, ask more difficult questions to Bart. Thank you.